Let me thank all of you for being here today. Today's an important day for our state to try to share with the citizens of the state kind of where we're at, where we've been, and where we're headed. And let me take 7 or 8 minutes and share with you what I shared with the legislature this morning relative to our state. And I want to start out by refreshing everybody's memory about what we're trying to do and what our vision is for the state. And that is, we're trying to make sure we're preparing Nebraska to compete in a 21st century, knowledge based, technology driven economy. This is really about the future for our young people. To make sure, I'm going to lose my voice, to make sure that we're creating jobs to keep young people right here in Nebraska. So if you look over the last 4 years, what we've done in conjunction with the leadership of this community and the legislature, we changed Nebraska for the better. We modernized our economic incentives, we've created jobs, we lowered taxes, and we controlled spending, but we invested in the most important priorities of the state. And let me just share with you the Nebraska Advantage. Remember, we passed that back in 2005. Since then, 185 companies have decided to locate or expand here in Nebraska. They're going to invest $5.3 billion in our economy and create more than 15,000 new jobs in the years ahead. And that's very, very important. As I say, our vision for the future is about creating jobs that keep our sons and daughters right here in Nebraska. Now, one of the reasons that we're here today in pretty decent shape compared to other states is the budget we passed 2 years ago. Senator Aguilar was there, but Senator Heineman, the chairman of the Appropriations Committee and the Appropriations Committee, we worked with them and we enacted a budget that spending grew at 4.6%. That was significantly less than the nearly 7% growth of the last 2 decades. The end result of that, not only did we invest in the most important priorities of the state, education, and those less fortunate, it allowed us to lower taxes. And if you look over the last few years, we've eliminated the marriage penalty in the state income tax system. We repealed the estate tax. We repealed the sales tax on construction labor. We expanded the earned income tax credit, and we lowered agricultural land valuations from 80% to 75%. And in 2007, again, working with the legislature, takes a team effort, we passed the largest tax relief package in the history of our state. We're trying to put this balance between spending and lowering taxes that allows us to have a more competitive business climate to create more jobs to keep our kids here. We've made significant progress. As we stand here today, Nebraska is one of 9 states that is not currently facing a fiscal crisis, and that's because of the decisions we've made the last 2 years. Now, and you're beginning to see it here in central Nebraska. As we look ahead, we're beginning to see some of our fellow citizens are experiencing job layoffs, furloughs, or reductions in the hours that they work. And what that means is we're heading into an uncertain economic future. And I shared with the legislature this morning the challenge that we're going to face, if you look around at some of the surrounding states, could give you a picture of what might lie ahead for us. Hopefully it won't. But last month, for example, the state of Kansas did not have enough money to make their monthly state aid to education obligation to their school districts. In December, the state of Minnesota went in and cut $271 million from their current budget. Iowa just announced here in the last month an across-the-board cut of 1.5% in their current state aid budget, or in their current state budget, including a $33 million reduction in school funding. Now, can you imagine if you're a school district, I'm sure Steve wouldn't want this, if you had to cut what we give you in terms of state aid, you experienced a reduction midway through the school year, how difficult that would be. And again, we made the tough budget decisions 2 years ago, so we don't anticipate in the current fiscal year that we're going to make any reductions in the current budget. We are better positioned to weather this coming fiscal storm. Now, the other thing that we've tried to do, we've told state agencies, go in and save money right now. Every dime you can save in the budget this year, we're going to do something different. We're going to reappropriate it into next year's budget. Save it and keep it rather than the past practice of spend it or lose it. You know how it is normally in government. You get to the last quarter, and if you don't go out and spend it, whether you need to or not, you lose that money. We're trying to take a more business-like approach. You save that money, and the chairman of the Appropriations Committee and I have already indicated we will support that reappropriation.